Hi, Year 10s. We're going to do the spoke part of our motorbike wheel. We're going to use a material which is 1.6 millimeters thick. We need to make a pattern. The outside's going to be 50.5 millimeters in diameter. When you're making these, you need to remember you're actually going to make them out of metal, and they're going to appear a lot smaller. So if you had a ruler out and measured between there and there, zoom to the point where it is, that's how big you're going to cut it out. So as you zoomed in, it kind of looks like you could do lots of fine details, but I'd recommend not doing it too fine. The other reason why not to do it too fine, you're going to have a lot of cutting to do, but you also have to braze weld between the large piece of the wheel and the small piece of the metal. So unless your braze welding is really good and you can control your heat really well, if you've got a large contact area between the outer wheel and the spoke, it's going to be a lot easier to weld for you. I'll just scroll down so you can see this one. It's got lots of little sections in it. He did really well. You need a section in the middle which is solid for the axle to go through. This person here has just braze welded their whole disc in. Not very creative, and I don't think it looks amazing. He did quite a good job of making the kind of bike look like a little chopper though. You can see some different designs. When you're doing this, I'd recommend thinking about the processes that we've got available. So you can drill, so you can pre-drill these holes, and then you can hacksaw down. So pre-drill, hacksaw down, pre-drill, hacksaw down. We're not going to do the middle hole until right in the end once it's braze welded together. So I'm going to get to the fusion part of this. If you haven't used fusion much before, it shouldn't be too much of a hassle. I wouldn't worry about signing up to for an account. You can borrow someone else's account just to do this little task. I'm going to go to a new design. When you open Fusion, it'll come up as a new design. I'm going to save it straight away. If you want to create a new project, you can do that. So I might call this one Year 10 Metal 2020 because I do Year 10 every year. And we can now save it in that folder, and I'm going to call it Wheel Design 1. You might want to try a few different designs. First thing I'm going to do is go to the sketch tool. I'm going to create it on a plane. It doesn't really matter. Probably this bottom one would be easier, so we're drawing from the top down. I'm going to get a circle, click the circle. You should be able to write 50.5 in there and enter. We've got a bit of a glitch on our computers. If you're using the computer lab at the moment, you might need to press enter and then come up and manually dimension them. So think about that. We're going to go finish sketch at that stage, and we're going to make it a disc. So that would fit in our wheel now. We're going to extrude it. Sorry if you missed that. We're going to use the extrude feature, and we're going to extrude it to 1.6 millimeters. Once we've got that to 1.6 millimeters, we can do our pattern on the outside. That's why we're doing it here. So click the surface you want to sketch on. We click sketch, brings it back into kind of the top view looking down. I would be maybe thinking about what holes you can drill. So even if I did this out here, I'll do it on a construction line to start with. So with a new sketch, I'm going to go to a construction line and a line. I'm going to go from the center point out to the edge, and that gives me some kind of point to define my sketch on. So turning off the construction line, I just selected circle. I've just drawn a circle, and think about the drill sizes we've got. So 5 mil is quite a standard drill size we've got lots of. And then I'm going to draw maybe from this point here outwards, and this point here straight. I don't really know what I'm planning to do here, but we'll just see what it looks like. There's a thing called tangent here, so that if the line is tangent to that circle, it means it's nice and flowing on there. I'm going to do another circle, and I'm going to do a construction line circle in the middle. I don't want to actually cut this one, but in the end we're going to need to have an 8mm hole in there. Now I don't want my pattern to get too close to that 8mm hole because we need some material around here that holds everything together. So I'm just going to do some adjustments here, make it kind of look cool, maybe bring this one back a little bit, and when I'm happy with that profile I'm going to click finish sketch. So I don't want to do the middle hole, I'll keep saying that because we're going to do that once the disc is welded in. I'm going to go extrude. I've selected my profile, I'm going to push that through and I'll click OK. So that's my first cut. Now to make this look cool I'm going to go create, I'm going to come down to pattern, circular pattern, I'm going to pattern a feature. I'm going to select the feature, you can either do it here or you can do it here. And the axis is any circle, so the outer circle for this point. And we can change the quantity up. So let's try 5. So that kind of looks like a pretty cool wheel. There's a few other different designs that you can try. I might run you through a couple of different options. So I've just prepared another disc at that 50.5 diameter. I'm just going to do it completely random this time. Now I know I can do cuts that are straight with the hacksaw. So if I was doing that cut, I would be able to cut down, and then I'd have to do another cut down that way and another cut down that way. Bit of effort, lots of cutting, but that would work. I can just make this completely random, so I'm not defining the sketch in any way. It's not really a fusion lesson, it's more just being creative with shapes. So I've cut that one out. I'm going to come back down to my circular pattern. I select my feature, which is that one, and select my axis, which is the outside, and I can make, let's say, 4 of them, see what that looks like. If we want to go back in here and maybe do 3, kind of looks different. If you want to go back and edit this sketch in here, so double click the sketch, and you can change the angle of one of these, angle of that, and it's going to give you a completely different look. So have a play. Just remember you need to be able to leave an 8mm hole in the middle, which isn't actually going to be cut out until it's welded in position. Be creative with it and see how you go with that. Whoops. Once we have a wheel that is ready to go, what we're going to do is go new drawing from design. Make sure your design is open when you do this. If you've got the Ross Trevor template, you can use that. Otherwise, what you can do is just click OK. Just make sure this is on A4 though, so set it to A4. On this drawing sheet, likewise, if you've got a couple of designs, you can put it on there. It'll come up with some of the information here, but we want to do a 1:1 scale, and we want it to be the view that faces directly in front. So I'm calling that front, but I drew it on the top view. Just swap through your different views until you see the right one. Click once, double check it's 1:1. You might want to do a shaded view as well. And then we can copy that by going Control C. I'm not sure if I can see it on here, but Control V should be able to paste it together. Now that hasn't worked for me. The other way we can do it is up here. So up here, we're going to place another top view, and we can keep doing that until we've got lots of top views in there. You can fit multiple designs on this sheet. I would suggest doing at least 4 on there, so we can start to cut these out and paste them in metalwork. Once you've got that done, press print it on A4, and you'll be ready to create your wheels.